Some people find it easier to get in the zone and achieve flow state while working than at home. We're going to look at why that is and how to get more moments of flow in our careers. Hey everyone, buddies! In this video, we are taking a look at flow in your career, specifically careers with built-in flow, finding flow in your work, and being a flow leader. If you haven't watched the other videos in this series, I recommend checking them out first. I've created a playlist so you can easily access them in order. I'll review some key points, but watching those earlier videos will give you a better foundation for what we'll cover. Remember that flow is that mental state when you're completely in the zone. It goes by many names. It's a natural state that most people have experienced. This is not some mystical phenomenon. It's like the pinnacle of being present and being at peak performance, when time seems to disappear and every decision feels correct and automatic. And I've studied this topic extensively during my time in neuroscience and music performance, and I want to share the research-backed insights that have helped me most, applying them beyond just performance to different aspects of life. Trust me, when you can maximize flow in your life, everything becomes a little bit easier. And this video draws from my experience both as an employee in various jobs and as a leader in many roles throughout my life. I've done plenty of trial and error and made many mistakes, so hopefully I can help you avoid some of them.
Yeah, make mistakes, my specialty.
Alright, so let's get into it. It seems that from a young age, we are taught to separate play and work. Anything you do is seen as either fun and good, but useless, or boring and bad, but productive. When the truth is, this is all BS. You can find meaning in both. Your job can be good, fun, and productive all at the same time. You'll miss out on one of the best ways to feel fulfilled and grow as a person if you keep work and play separate. When you start seeing work and play as the same thing, you'll find it much easier to get into the zone. Let's first look at careers with flow built in. Dr. Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, the biggest researcher of flow state, he discovered that performing artists and athletes experience flow more often than other careers. And it makes total sense why. Here's a quick reminder of a few things that make flow possible. It's enjoyment, clear goals, immediate feedback, the balance of the challenge versus your skill level, and a sense of risk. For artists and athletes, many of these things happen automatically. Plus, these careers naturally combine work and play. Think about it. It's called playing music or playing sports. Enjoyment is baked right in, unlike most jobs where we don't think of play at all. Another career that Dr. Csikszentmihalyi found brings high levels of flow is surgery. It's definitely less playful, but it checks all those other boxes. There are very clear goals, immediate feedback, you see it as you work. Surgery is incredibly challenging with a high skill level. Each surgery is unique, and there's huge amounts of risk. Mistakes aren't really an option. Dr. Csikszentmihalyi even found that flow can become addicting. Many surgeons feel a constant itch to get back in the operating room. So we can look at these careers that have this built-in flow and learn from them. So we need to add the aspects of enjoyment, create clear goals, get as much feedback as possible, and challenge ourselves. So if your career doesn't have these flow elements, we will need to figure out how to add them ourselves. If you know any workaholics, people that are obsessed with their jobs, they usually have very clear metrics with constant feedback and validation of their skills in their work. To simplify, it's a lot easier when you can see number go up, you did good. On the flip side, people often hate their jobs for a few key reasons: a lack of clarity, doing the same thing over and over, and not getting along with coworkers, especially your boss. This is where my ECC method comes in. Enjoyment, challenge, consistency. All right, enjoyment. So the first obvious step is to try and find the bits of work that you do enjoy and do as much of that as possible. Either make someone else do the stuff you don't like, or if you can't do that, speak to your boss about leaning more into aspects you do enjoy. You can also try to integrate the things you enjoy doing outside of work to inform or enhance your tasks at work. For example, a lawyer who loves sports might work with professional athletes. I do a lot of this integration too because I do audio work outside of my job, and that always feeds back into my work as a radio producer. But the main point we want to talk about today is how to make things more enjoyable. So let's go into challenge. To create challenge, you need clear goals and opportunities to build your skills. So the first part will fix our lack of clarity, creating clear goals. So break tasks into smaller steps and set mini goals along the way. So for example, me, I work as a radio producer. I have a bunch of shows and commercials that I'm responsible for, but there are sometimes ambiguity and there's a lot of variance between every task. So to combat this, I write all my tasks into my calendar, creating an ideal week, and then I color code that to display the progress. So it starts red. This means I don't have what I need to start. If it's read too long, I know to either bug someone for assets or create a time block in my schedule to get them. Once I get what I need, it's green. This means I can start production. Here, I break down that production step further by first cleaning up audio, which is just removing things like bad takes or noise. Then I do content editing, so there's nothing in it I don't want or to adjust for time. Then I do the final mix and send it off. Those things I usually do all in one sitting, but if there's a reason I need to stop, I split it up and it creates very obvious stopping points. Then it becomes blue, which means it's ready for approval or processing, and gray means it's done and I can forget about it.
Forget about it.
This system gives me constant feedback and makes even big tasks feel manageable. Plus, ticking things off feels good.
Yeah.
Are you flirting with me?
Feeling yourself get closer to a goal is a great way to achieve flow state, and we can fabricate that feeling by creating all of these mini goals. So find those breakpoints in your tasks and set them up so you get that feeling of achievement more often. Even in simple tasks like a meeting, list out each major point you want to hit. That creates goals to keep things focused and productive. I hate meetings that waste my time, but we still gotta fix that lack of variety. Doing the same things over and over is boring. We need to find ways to grow and learn. I recommend checking out my video on dealing with everyday tasks, which can help you with anything boring, but let's talk more specifically about work. If it's difficult for you to find variety, see if there are areas of growth where you can learn new skills and take on other tasks. I'm constantly bugging my boss to learn new stuff. I always make it clear I'm open to shifting around responsibilities, giving up some of my easier tasks so I can learn some new ones. Because I get bored and burnt out otherwise. If that's not possible, try pushing yourself in other ways. Can you do it faster or more efficiently? Are there new techniques you can try? Is there something you can learn or improve? All of these things will create variety within your work. And remember, staying on the edge of your abilities is key to flow. And that brings us to the consistency part. We want to make sure that we are getting feedback, so that every time we repeat tasks, we can consistently improve. If there is no obvious feedback in your job, you'll have to look for it. You could do self-assessments or ask colleagues and managers to give input. I bug other producers to listen to my mixes all the time. If your work has performance reviews, that's also a great place to ask for some specific feedback. But sometimes the biggest flow blocker isn't your actual work, it's the people you work with. Ideally, the systems you've put in place will improve relationships at work. Your boss and coworkers will see you as competent, growing, and easy to work with. But let's be real, sometimes people just suck. You don't have to love your coworkers. You just need to keep things professional and avoid unnecessary negativity. So do your best to interact with them the least you can to get your work done. If it's a huge problem and you've done all you can to try and fix it, it might be time to start searching for other places to work. You deserve to feel valued and appreciated. And if your current workplace doesn't give you that, they don't deserve someone as awesome as you.
Stop it.
There are a few other techniques you can try if you want to improve how you interact with other people, but that's for another day. So subscribe or you'll miss that one in the future. Now, a different role may be if you're the leader. You might run your own business, or you're a manager that's in charge of a team, or even only having one editor helping out your side projects. Shout out to Carson!
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
It's your job to create an environment where they can hit flow. The best leaders are a blend of rigid and flexible. They have clear expectations and goals, but they are also open to new ideas and adjust when things don't go according to plan. They create boundaries and a little risk. Boundaries and limitations breed creativity. Having to come up with janky solutions when you're constrained sometimes creates the most interesting and innovative results. I'm not saying to add a bunch of stress to your team, but having boundaries of what's expected along with limitations like budget or deadlines, for example, will ensure a more creative environment. What's that thing called when like work fills the time given? There's like Parkinson's law. So yeah, deadlines are good because it will force things to be finished. I procrastinate a lot, so definitely create Boundaries. Deadlines, budgets, and limits, they force people to think outside the box. Now for risk, it's not do this or you're fired. It's more along the lines of, oh, we really need this client, so make sure you do your best work. I trust you. So now they feel better that you believe in them, but they also won't want to let you down. It creates that risk while also giving them the reassurance and confidence that they need. Next up, you gotta play to their strengths, but push their limits. You obviously want your team members to do the things they're best at, but you also want them to grow and learn and not get bored. So make sure you're giving them tasks you know they'll knock out of the park, while also dabbling in some things here and there that they're not so familiar with. Just remember, if you're giving people stuff that they're new at, they're gonna fail. That's important. Let them. It's part of learning. And if they don't learn, well, I don't really have advice for that. Maybe just give them something else to do.
I don't want to hear it. Do it or you're fired.
But that does lead to my final point, which is trust in your team members. Give them direction and clarity, then GTFO. Get out of their way and let them cook. Micromanaging kills creativity and morale. My boss is fantastic. He's always standing up for us, he supports us, and he gives us a ton of freedom to get our work done. And it honestly makes me want to do a good job for him. I would seriously put in like half the effort if he wasn't as great as he is. So whether you're part of a team or leading one, these strategies can help you and others get into the zone more often. But there's a big thing that can break you down and ruin your flow: stress. And we'll talk about that next time, because I'm tired and I want to get this video out. So subscribe for next time, where we'll talk about flowing through stress. By following what we talked about today, you should experience more moments of flow in your career, either by adding enjoyment, creating clarity, or giving your team the boundaried space to thrive. Boundaried, is that a word? I don't think that's a word. A gated, fenced-in area to explore safely, like pasture. Do you find it easier to achieve flow when you're working or when you're at home? And do you have any specific things you do to get in the zone when you're doing work? Let me know in the comments below. I'm Faz. Thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate you. Have a great day, and remember to play.